Hello everyone, it is December 5th. Sorry I'm late, guys. I tried. And it is time for my collection update video for November 2015. I have a lot more than I was expecting for last month. First of all, I finally got that package from my dad I've been waiting months for. And my girlfriend sent me a huge package full of stuff, of video games and whatnot. So we'll have all of that here. We have a little bit of everything except posters and wall scrolls, but like I say all the time, probably the only time I'm ever going to have those are after I go to Seattle every year, so it'll be like a once a year type deal where I have those. But we'll go ahead and start with DVDs, which we actually only have DVDs this month for once. Then we'll move on to CDs and then close it out with video games again. So starting off, we have one of the things my father sent me. It is a live DVD from a band that played Atlanta the last time I went. It's actually the live DVD they recorded. This is Need Orvom, a song for Atlanta, live at Prog Power USA 2014, or technically the 15th Prog Power. But this is a live DVD of them playing their entire Orvom, a song for home, in its entirety. I actually don't even think this is in order. I don't recall them actually playing the CD in order. Also, they did play one older song that I wasn't sure about when I saw this, but it's not in this DVD, which is kind of unfortunate. But I haven't yet watched this, but I will because I want to watch it. But I will watch this eventually, and it'll be pretty cool to watch because they put on a heck of a show. So, yeah, moving on. Next up, the rest of these are DVDs that I got in the package from my girlfriend. First up, we actually have a sequel to another movie. This is Be Cool. It's got John Travolta, Uma Thurman, Danny DeVito, Christina Milian, the singer, Bernie... No, that's I can never remember his name. And then Vince Vaughn, The Rock, Harvey Keitel. Is that Andre 3000 as well? But this is actually the sequel to Get Shorty, which is right there. So, but we'll see about getting that eventually. I will eventually get that. I haven't seen either of these movies, but I need to, I guess. So, or is it Cedric the Entertainer? It is Cedric the Entertainer. It's Cedric the Entertainer. But, it's cool to have this. I wasn't exactly expecting it. Eventually I will Get Shorty and finally watch both of these. So, yeah. Moving on, we have, believe it or not, after how much I loved this show as a kid, my first Rugrats movie on DVD. It's actually the last one, and it's actually a crossover with another Nickelodeon show. This is Rugrats Go Wild. I actually saw this movie in theaters, enjoyed the heck out of it. It's a crossover of Wild Thornberrys and Rugrats, obviously. But this actually came after the Wild Thornberrys movie. I forgot they made that too. And Spike is voiced by Bruce Willis for some reason. Eventually, I do plan on getting Rugrats in Paris, which I also saw in theaters, and the Rugrats movie, which I believe I also saw in theaters. Yeah, I loved Rugrats as a kid. If they made the entire series on DVD, I might buy it. I'm debating on if that happens. But eventually I will get that. This is actually a really good movie, you know, because babies and wild animals and flee. But yeah, so good movie. Can't wait to watch it again. I'll probably wait until I have the other two before I watch this, though. Then I actually finished... Well, I can't say I finished a movie series anymore because they made another one and they're coming out with a fifth one. But for the longest time, I only had the very first Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. But my girlfriend sent me the other two. And the only two that I care about. Dead Man's Chest and At World's End. These are the only three I will ever have. I don't care about On Stranger Tides or the next one because Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley left. And to me, that kind of killed the franchise. So, I mean, Captain Jack Sparrow is awesome, but it's just not worth it to me anymore. So... I like how it even says right here, the final chapter of the epic trilogy. It says right there, and they lied. But still, I still think, is it... Yeah, I can't remember which one's... I think it might be this one that's absolutely fantastic. Well, they're all really good. I mean, 3 wasn't exactly as good, but still. But can't wait to watch these again. Now that I have these, I might actually do a trilogy watch. Why not? Really cool to have them. That's it for DVDs. We move on to CDs. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 this month. A couple of them are special, but for once I actually have a lot to say about these CDs. First off, we have the Prog Power sampler from this year. I actually got this in the package from my dad. As usual, it's 3 discs in little sleeves. So that's really cool, because I specifically asked for the sampler CD, and I ended up getting it. So if we look on here for bands that I've heard of, Camelot, which I actually just got to go see in concert, that's the reason why this video is so late. Leprous, which I saw in 2014. Then we got Neil Schon, the guitarist for Journey. Metal Allegiance, which is one of Mike Portnoy's new bands with apparently people from Slayer and Anthrax, I guess is what it is. I did a little bit of research. Lords of the Trident, which have been on this sampler before. Viathan has as well. I've heard of Odin's Court. Then we got Symphony X, which is one of my favorite bands. Next to None, which is Mike Portnoy's son's band. And then we got Flying Colors, one of Mike Portnoy's other bands, with actually with Neil Morse from Spock's Beard. Then we got Stream of Passion, who's playing this next year. Borealis, who was touring with Evergrey and Voyager, and I've heard of, and they actually sound really good. Riverside, which was there this last year. Lord, which is playing next year. Yeah, so really cool to have these. There's a lot of good songs. It introduced a lot of new bands to me, so we'll definitely have to buy a few bands that I saw in this CD eventually. Rhyming accidentally. Then we move on to actual CDs that I got. All of these, from now on, are all bands that are playing next year at Prog Power. That has been my goal, to buy one CD from every band to determine if I want to continue to buy them. I believe I only have like 6 bands left, because they finally announced the last 2 headliners. And those 2, well, at least one of the headliners is probably going to be one of the first CDs I buy again when I have money. I ran myself a little bit low, not because of these, but because of Christmas and stuff. Honestly, if I hadn't had to pay for Christmas, I wouldn't be behind on money. But we'll go ahead and start with the first band. This is Green Carnation, Light of Day, Day of Darkness. I believe this is technically their 3rd album, but this album they're actually playing in its entirety next year, and by this album I mean the entire CD's one song. It's called Light of Day, Day of Darkness. It's actually a really good song, pretty trippy. It's prog-ish, definitely, but it has some interesting moments. But it's literally one 60-minute song. That's it. Pretty crazy. And I guess these guys broke up and actually got back together recently. So, and I just like that their founding member is named Chort, and I guess he's from a death metal band, and now he has this one random prog metal band. But I guess it actually says here, Light of Day is musically dedicated to my son, Damien Alexander, for bringing joy, inspiration, and meaning to my life, and lyrically dedicated to Christian and Christopher Baudieri on an everlasting mental and emotional journey. This is my musical legacy. Interesting. Because from what I read, this is supposed to be based on the death of his daughter or birth of his son, or the opposite of that, or something like that. But it's still pretty cool. Definitely interesting, and I will buy more of these guys. I definitely got to check these guys out a little bit more. It's weird, but good weird. Kind of like Pain of Salvation. No, they don't sound like Pain of Salvation, but when I say good weird, I mean like Pain of Salvation, good weird. Okay, moving on. We have 2 bands that will actually be coming one after another at Prog Power this next year. We'll start off with the prog metal band. This is Vanishing Point, and their newest album, Distant is the Sun. This one actually surprised me. Their singer takes a second to get used to, but it's really good. This is a really good CD. I'll have to check out more of them when I can. But there's a lot of good songs on here. Let's see. When Truth Lies. Wow. Circle of Fire. Let the River Run's good. Denied Deliverance also. Walls of Silence pretty good, but it's actually a really good CD. I'll definitely check these guys out. It's definitely really interesting. Oh yeah, that's right. The lead singer of Sonata Arctica does vocals on Circle of Fire. I forgot about that. But still, really good CD. Worth checking these guys out. Those are the ones that are also from Australia, now that I think about it. Yeah. Then we go on to the power metal band, and unfortunately, due to circumstance, this is the only CD from this list I haven't listened to yet. A, because it took so long to get here, and B, it came at a time where I was a little bit backed up with doing stuff. But that is Freedom Call. This is their newest official album, Beyond. Technically, they've released a CD since this, but it's a remake of their very first album with some bonus tracks. So eventually I'll get that, maybe, unless I decide to get their first album. These guys are actually going to be a little bit harder to find. Their CDs go for a bit more than most of these bands, so I don't know how easily I'll be able to get these guys' CDs, if I even like them. That's the thing. So we'll see. But Beyond, this is their new album. It's got 14 tracks, so it ought to be interesting. Unfortunately, I can't say a whole lot because I haven't listened to this one. It's kind of sad. But I do hope that this is decent, because then I have more CDs to buy. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. Then we move on. These next two are definitely my albums of the month. I'm actually going to go with the next one being album of the month, but this is a very, very close second. This is Glory Hammer, and their newest album that just came out like September, Space 1992 Rise of the Chaos Wizards. I guess they actually got pretty popular with their first album, Tales from the Kingdom of Fife, which is going to be a pain to find, but I'll get it. But this album, holy cow, blew me away. These guys were my number one, like, most hyped next to Circus Maximus, because they're playing for a little while till I got this next CD. But this CD is so good. Rise of the Chaos Wizards, Legend of the Astral Hammer is great. Hollywood Hootsman is just funny. Universe on Fire, the Heroes of Dundee is really good too. This is actually a really, really good CD. It's really, really fun. Great kick-ass power metal. So it's definitely worth a check out. If you like power metal, please check out this band. Seriously, they are amazing. I'm so hyped. Literally, every band that I'm hyped for is on Thursday night this next year, so I am so excited for that one night, because Glory Hammer, this next band, Circus Maximus, and then Blind Freaking Guardian are playing, and I'll buy them eventually, so we'll see. Moving on to probably my album of the month, prog metal band, but that's because I'm so into prog metal, and a band I've actually heard of and haven't gotten around to checking out. This is Pierre Amazed. It's their fourth album, Disciples of the Sun. So we have Distant is the Sun and Disciples of the Sun. Anyway, I've heard of these guys quite a bit. Never checked them out. They actually had Matt Barlow from Iced Earth and Ashes of Ares as their singer for the album before this, so I'm definitely going to check it out. I actually have to, because I found out that him and their original singer are also going to perform with them, so I need to try to get at least most of their album to get the discography taken care of, because there's going to be a wide range of songs. But let's see, of the songs that I liked, Battle of Paradise is good, Disciples of the Sun, Genetic Process, Perfectly Imperfect, Hope Springs Eternal, and Black... Just basically everything on this CD is really good. In fact, the lead singer of this band is actually brothers with two members of Divided Multitude, who I saw the last time I went to Prague Power, so that's pretty cool. But definitely excited for them, and they also play Thursday night, so these are the openers, or these guys are the openers, so it's going to be really fun to see Thursday night. I am so excited for this CD. This singer sounds so good. But definitely check these guys out if you like prog metal. Then, and believe it or not, for the last two CDs, I'm going to call these my disappointments of the month, but they're more popular than any of the bands that I've said previously here. They're definitely disappointing. We'll start off with this one. This is one of Amaranth's, one of my favorite bands, their biggest influence. That being Scar Symmetry. I was really excited to listen to these guys. This is their newest, yeah, their newest album so far, The Singularity Part 1, or Phase 1, Neo-Humanity. It's a concept album that's going to have a second part. Let's just say I don't think I'm going to get that second part. I was expecting it to kind of sound like Amaranth with the poppy and the really good vocals, but then the death metal. And with Amaranth, I could tolerate it. I don't know why, but I just can. This, I can't. It's just too much death. It didn't feel like... It just felt like it was mostly death metal and then some choruses and stuff. And the guy that actually sings clean vocals sounds really good. And I was really excited for this CD, but I was just disappointed. And I guess this got more progressive and more chorus heavy, so I don't even know if I want to buy any more of the CDs. But this was utterly disappointing. I'm sure they'll still put on a good show, and there were a couple good songs on here. Neo-Human was good. The Shape of Things to Come. There were a couple decent songs on here, but otherwise I was disappointed. If you're into this kind of music, that's cool, and I'm sure this is actually a really popular band, because they're pretty much one slot down from the headliner next year. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm just sad, but it is what it is, you know. You can't be impressed by everything. And then finally, and one of the titans of the prog metal genre, one of the founding members, so it's kind of scary that I say this is a disappointment, especially when they're playing this entire album at Prog Power next year. We have Fate's Warning with their third album, Awaken the Guardian, with their original singer, John Arch. I have never listened to Fate's Warning, even though, you know, they're one of the founding members of prog metal pretty much, with Queensryche and Dream Theater. This, just to go on a little bit of a tangent, this is actually like a 3-disc of albums, a 3-disc album. It's got the entire CD on disc 1, demos of a bunch of stuff, I think like the whole album on disc 2, and then pretty much the entire album live on disc 3, which is really cool to have, because this is the 20th anniversary edition, so this was released 10 years ago, because they're playing it to celebrate its 30th anniversary. So yeah, this is their original lead singer, John Arch. I just think he sings way too high, and it's just not appealing to me. So I'm not going to buy any more John Arch albums. I'm still going to give these guys another chance because I know how popular they are. And I've heard a bit of their newest album, Darkness in a Different Light, and it sounded good. And Ray Alder is their singer now. Unfortunately, when they play at Prog Power, it's just going to be this album and then a bunch of old stuff with their original singer. So I'm probably going to be really disappointed by that. But I will continue to buy Ray Alder albums. I'm giving them another chance. But I will buy more Fate's Warning with Alder. There's like 8 of those, so eventually I will buy those. I'm giving these guys another chance because I know what their status is. But yeah, unfortunately I'm disappointed by this album. Probably get a lot of crap for that, but you know, prog metal, it is what it is. Yeah, that's it for CDs. We go on to video games and video game related stuff. Again, most of this stuff is from my girlfriend. There's a lot of game guides, a few games, and then we'll have something special at the end. I'm pretty sure I talked about it at the end of last month, but I ended up getting one extra. So, and then some stuff I didn't. Half of the stuff my girlfriend gave me, I didn't even remember I was getting. I forgot about everything. So, yeah. So we'll start off with some game guides. There are 5 here total. We'll start with a game I already have the guide to, but this is a different guide. I actually have the Nintendo Power Guide to this, but I said I'd take this because it has its own poster, and that is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness for the GameCube. This is the Prima guide. The only other guide I could possibly think of for this game is the Brady Games guide, because I have the Brady Games guide to Coliseum. So it does have a Shadow Lugia poster right here. Oh, it's actually not bad setup. I'm just so used to the Nintendo Power Guide. Cool to have another guide for XD Gale of Darkness. I kind of want to get all the Pokemon game guides. Not everyone ever made, obviously, but just all of them. Then we go on to a game I have on Steam, I just don't have on console. That being Tomb Raider The Last Revelation, also Prima strategy guide. Yeah, so the cover here is kind of messed up. It's actually really messed up, but otherwise, and then this page, but otherwise look how flawless the rest of this guide is. It's like borderline mint condition. So I said I'd take it. I mean, I don't even know if I'm really going to use this guide if I ever even play this game, but it's cool to have just because why not? Tomb Raider The Last Revelation. Then we go on to some Final Fantasy. Nothing too major. They're all Final Fantasy VII sequels though, or 2 Final Fantasy sequels. These are both Brady games, so like my Coliseum game. The first one we have here is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII, with Zack here, or at least most of him. A lot of people said this is kind of a disappointing game, but I guess it gave my girlfriend feelings, and it's a really decent-sized guide. My girlfriend sent me this game in a package years and years and years ago, so it's pretty cool to have the guide for this, which is funny that she didn't send it to me originally. Then the other game is one I bought on PS2 a while ago, Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII, also Brady games, which I'm pretty sure I said, but I have this guide. This is the Vincent Valentine game, so I'm definitely going to end up using this. I heard the gameplay wasn't that great, but I don't care. It's Vincent, so it'll be fun to play. Eventually I'll actually bother playing a Final Fantasy game, probably, now that I think about it. But we move on to, well, this isn't the final one, but the other one is actually with the game. We have an actual Nintendo Power Guide, and it's to a Mario game, Super Mario Sunshine. Really cool to have the guide to this game. I guess all GameCube guides are really thin, because even the Wind Waker guide is tiny. But still really cool to have an older guide like this for, like, it's just really cool to have this. Because the older Nintendo Power Guides are always really cool to look at. So, yeah. Oh, look. If you subscribe to Nintendo Power, you can get a Mario Sunshine shirt. But anyway, that's it for just guides that don't come with games. We'll move on to the video games, actual games. The one with the guide comes here pretty close to the end. But we'll go ahead and start off with a demo, actually, which is really cool that I actually have something like this. This is the Metroid Prime Hunters First Hunt, which is a demo that I guess was a launch title, or came with the original DS. So it's the game with the guide. Unfortunately, the holder right here is a little torn because it was probably put in a little bit too hard. But still really cool to have this. It's not the whole game, it's just part of the game. I do intend to get this game eventually. In fact, since I have a thing for getting the Metroid games up in Seattle, this might be one of the games I look for. We'll actually shoot for that, see if I can find this. That would be amazing. But yeah, really cool to have just a demo of a game. I don't think I actually, other than the demo discs for PS1, and I think I might have one for Dreamcast, this is the only demo I really have. So yeah, really cool to have this. Then we go on to a sort of retro game, I guess you could call it a retro game. And it's a game that I decided I wanted to buy at the beginning of this month. I decided I was going to try to buy all the old Rugrats games for PS1, because I have the original, and I played it and beat it in like half an hour. And I actually had this game and the other one I'm going to buy as a kid, but I got rid of them. Eventually I will also buy one my girlfriend told me about, but this is Rugrats Studio Tour for the PS1. It's basically the exact same thing with the same terrible control scheme, or at least a little bit refined as the original Rugrats game. I feel like it's a little bit better. It's definitely a longer game, and it's got awesome mini-golf. I will never say the mini-golf is bad in these games, because it really isn't. The other game I had as a kid was Rugrats in Paris, the game, for PS1 also. I also played it on N64 for a little while. But I need to get that one because it has mini-golf and a bunch of stuff, and I just remember that one really well. And then apparently my girlfriend played Rugrats Scavenger Hunt a lot, which is kind of a Rugrats Mario Party type game. So that ought to be interesting, and I said I'd get it. But yeah, I sped through this game just to play it for the hell of it, and I was like, okay, I almost have it done. And then I ended up getting to a point where it's like, oh, by the way, here's more game for you. And I'm like, great. So we'll see. I might end up liking it, or I might, I don't know. It's alright. It's not the best game. But I'll end up getting those other 2 games. And then my girlfriend actually sent me another Rugrats game for the GameCube. I'm sure it was probably on PS2 and Xbox, I'm going to assume. But we have here Rugrats Royal Ransom. Basically the exact same kind of game as the PS1 games, but more refined. The graphics are a little bit better, and the control scheme is so much better. Like I almost feel like I could actually play this game. It's not bad. I didn't really play it too much, but still, it's like a refined Rugrats game, and that's awesome. I didn't even think that there were other Rugrats games other than like the computer ones that were really like point and clicks or like activity games. I actually had an activity game. I had a bunch of old computer games. I don't know where they went, but really cool to have this. Actually, really nice. I might actually end up playing this one just for the heck of it. See if I can beat this one. But yeah, Royal Ransom, and it has Kimmy, which is pretty cool. Then we move on to an Xbox game, and a game I've seen before. I think my friend Ryan has this. I think. That being Fusion Frenzy, which was only on Xbox. But as far as I know, I don't really know a lot about this game, but I guess it's just a party game of a bunch of mini games or stuff. And I guess my girlfriend and her sister played this game a lot, so it's pretty cool to have this. I might play it with her when she's out here finally, but otherwise I don't know what I might play it with my friends or something, but we'll see. We'll see. Then we move on to a PS3 game, and quite possibly one of my girlfriend's favorite PS3 games, that being Nier. I still don't understand why it's pronounced Nier when it's spelled like that, but it's a Square Enix game, and it's an RPG. It's an interesting RPG. Never heard of it before my girlfriend told me about it, so I don't know quite what to expect. And it is rated M, so that ought to be interesting. But I guess they just announced an unnamed sequel also, so my girlfriend just about pooped herself. So, really cool to have this, because it is Square Enix, and it is a PS3 game, so I can't say that I'm not excited to play this when I do finally play it. Then we move on to what my girlfriend says is the only Sonic game worse than Sonic 06, which I have a very hard time believing. But, it is a GameCube game, and it is Shadow the Hedgehog. The only reason I wanted this is because I always wanted to play this as a kid, and I was actually told by a friend of mine in high school that it was a good game, and he was obsessed with it. So I don't know if it's as bad. I don't think you can top Sonic 06 in badness. Okay, so we'll see. It ought to be pretty cool to have. It's not a... As far as I know, it's not a terrible game. It's just not great. And people were expecting great. I think this is really when the Sonic series started kind of going downhill. So, really cool to have a game like this, even though it's probably not great. Still pretty nice to have, though. Then, we have an Xbox 360 game. This is my first 360 game I've gotten in quite a while, actually. This is the original Battlefield Bad Company. Completely forgot my girlfriend was going to send me this. But I have always wanted to play the first one because you can get the second one on PC and everywhere. So now I might just get the second one on Xbox 360 just to have uniformity. It's not bad. It didn't play too bad. It's just really nice to have, you know, Bad Company, the original, because I have always wondered about it. I didn't... For the longest time, I didn't realize that Battlefield Bad Company was literally the Battlefield series. I couldn't put two and two together. It's the dumbest thing. But still... really, really nice to have. Battlefield Bad Company, yeah. Then we go on to the game, and the only game here that has a guide, and it's actually a game I've been trying to get the original game for a long time, because for some reason on PS3 and even Xbox, the first game goes for like twice as much as all the rest of them. That being Assassin's Creed. I did have this game and the second one for a long time on the Xbox 360, but then I ended up getting like, I think it was Revelations Brotherhood. Was it Revelations of No, I think it was 2 Revelations of Brotherhood on PS3. So I'm like, okay, I need to get the first one. And then I got 3. And I'm like, okay, I need to get the first one. And then I was told 4 was really good. I haven't bought that yet. I will buy Black Flag, I guess, now, because I was actually told that was one of the better ones. But I did need to get the first one, even though it's probably one of people's least favorite. But I don't care, it's still the first one. It's the one that started it all, with the original PlayStation 3 logo on here. And it does come with the guide. So, and it actually still has the map in it, which is really cool. But I know this game's really slow, and it's probably not nearly as good as the other ones. I did play a little bit of it on 360. I just need to get back to it one of these days. So yeah, it's really cool to have this though. Assassin's Creed. Then on to the final game, and actually a complete surprise because, again, I forgot that she sent me this. And it'll actually make my friends happy if I ever get Xbox Live. It is another 360 game, and it is Halo 4. I actually had no plan on ever getting this game because I feel like after the third game, they cash cowed this franchise like they did with Call of Duty and Battlefield and everything. Assassin's Creed now. But my friends had it and they played a lot, said it was pretty good. So I was like, okay. When she said she'd send it to me, I guess I'm like, alright, cool. My friends will really like that if I ever get live. And then 5 just came out, which is funny. I finally get the 4th one and 5's out. It's actually pretty hilarious. But really cool to have this game. It ought to be entertaining, I guess. We'll see. I mean, it's the first Halo game by 343 and not Bungie, so... yeah. Or, well, Reach was technically, yeah. It's the first main series Halo game. But yeah, pretty cool to have. That concludes the video games part. But, if you remember last month, I did say that there were a couple amiibos coming out. I did get the 2 I wanted, plus an extra one that I didn't find out was coming out until slightly before Black Friday. It launched on Black Friday. Thank God I got it because I wanted it really bad. But we'll start off with the 2 I got when they came out on the 13th of November. First off, we have Mewtwo. He looks fantastic, actually. He looks really good. Unfortunately, last time I was in a hurry to get through all the amiibos, so I didn't really go through them in detail. Hopefully now I can give a little bit more detail. But the only Pokemon I'm missing now is Jigglypuff, and he was a Target exclusive, so I have to try to find him somewhere. But still, Mewtwo's really cool to have, because classic melee. Then, this is actually funny, these next 2 were originally only available with collector's editions of the game. And then this last month they came out separately. First off, we have the final Yarn Yoshi for me to get. The green one. I have the blue and the pink one, so why not? I'm really happy to have the OG color Yoshi. It's really cool to have this. I still think the yarn just looks absolutely fantastic. But, really cool to have this. I might need to try to find one of these separately to open, because I guess the only way to play multiplayer in this game is to have a Yarn Yoshi amiibo. I don't know. I don't really know. But still, really cool to have all 3 of these. I'm really happy about that. And then the big one for me that I didn't expect to come out anytime soon. This came with the collector's edition of Mario Maker. That being the Modern Color 8-bit Mario amiibo. I found out it was coming out separately. I don't remember when exactly I found out, but when I found out it was coming out Black Friday, I told my mother, who goes out every Black Friday, get me this. If you can find it, it is a Walmart exclusive. I'm sure they probably still have them, because apparently, I don't know, there were a bunch of them. But still, really nice to have this, because I have the old school one with the brown pants. So, I'm really happy to have this. Like, these 2 particularly, I'm just really happy to have. Yeah, I'm just really happy to have these. But yeah, that is it for the collection update for November. I'll be back at the beginning of January, hopefully on the 1st, unlike this month. Happy New Year. But there should be a collection update next month. I'm not 100% sure right now, because I'm behind on money because of circumstance, and there's Christmas to take care of for a lot of people, because I'm not even remotely done. I'm just hoping I can get Christmas taken care of for everyone, and not be too behind on money. There might be a collection video. I honestly don't know, because if I have enough extra money, there will be some CDs and maybe Robin Williams movies, because I did skip this month. There'll at least be those 2. There's no amiibos coming out. There's no games coming out that I really want. I did pre-order a game, but that doesn't come out till March. But we'll see. I don't know. It is what it is. Hopefully there's one. If there's not, it'll be the first month. It'll actually be the first month, only the 2nd month in 3 years that I've done this, that I've skipped, if I skip next month. Also, I just literally remembered right now that as of November, because I didn't do this no, actually I think I did do it last year, but the first year I didn't do it. As of November, this is the 3rd year I've been doing this. Exactly. I started November 2012 doing these collection updates. It's been 3 years since I started doing these. I didn't even realize that. It's really been that long. Wow. Anyway, before I get too caught up in time, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Later.